A California veteran is suing the LAPD and the city of Los Angeles for false arrest after the cops showed up at his home to conduct a wellness check. First of all, Slade Douglas says that officers Jeremy Wheeler and Jeffrey Yabana got mad. He asked them to leave and then called 911 in their presence, so they arrested him. This is the body camera footage here of the incident.
Hi, Doug? Douglas. Mr. Slade.
Yes.
How you doing?
All right.
We got a call from, what was it, the veterans?
I don't know what they called for.
Can we come in and talk to you for a minute?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Is there anyone else in the house?
No, just me.
Okay.
So, I'm just gonna make sure no one else is.
No, please don't. No. Hold on. I asked you no. So I'm gonna have to ask you to leave because this is my house.
Okay.
Number one, and you just can't walk around.
Let me ask you just a couple questions.
Possible tax
Okay.
suspect there now.
The veterans,
2449 Hyperion
people,
Avenue.
they
2449 Hyperion Avenue.
Okay,
Suspect
regarding a
now
couple
is down
things.
there.
One was which that you were threatening to commit suicide.
That's not true.
So what I'm here for is just to make sure you're not gonna do something like that. So if you need our help, that's what I'm here for. We're not here to mess with you, bother you.
Well, you do understand if you just walk in my place and you just automatically start walking around, and I know y'all wear body cams as well. And ex-law enforcement too. If you just come in my place like that and you just start walking around, you have to have my permission to do that. So I don't appreciate that. You can't violate my rights because you got a call to help me. So you're not helping me if you just come in and you automatically start violating.
Well, sir, it was more for, like, officer safety.
No,
That's all
it's
it
not
was.
officer safety because I didn't even have to let you in.
Right,
So
you didn't.
no,
But-
don't say right, because it's about my safety because you're in my domain, and if you're here to help me, you can't say, well, my safety is because I have no weapons.
We don't know that.
You do know that because I'm asking you to leave. Please leave.
Okay.
I'm asking you
So
to leave.
you don't feel like hurting yourself?
I'm asking you to leave.
You don't feel like
Please
hurting
leave.
yourself?
I'm asking you to leave my residence.
Well, if you answer this question, then we'll be
I'm
on the way.
asking you to leave my residence.
I'm about to put you in handcuffs, sir.
If you do that, that's your choice.
Okay, turn around. Put your hands
Why would you put me in handcuffs? What
Turn around, put your hands behind your back.
What have I done?
You're gonna listen to what I said. You're gonna put down the phone. You're calling 911, and I'm standing right here.
But what have I done?
Put down the damn phone.
Why are you
Turn
cursing
around,
at me?
Put your hands
Why
behind
are you
your back.
using profanity
Put your
at
hands
me?
behind your back.
Why are you using?
Because you know what? You're calling 911. We're standing right in front of
But
you.
I'm asking you to leave my residency,
I'm
though.
not leaving your place now. Turn around. Put
You
your
said
hands
you
behind
came
your
here to
back.
help
I'm not
me.
doing that now.
All right, sir.
Put your hands behind your back. You're calling 911 right in front of us.
Because I asked you to leave my residency.
We can't leave
You
until
know
we
this.
determined.
You know this. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
No, I
if
do
you
not.
were law
I have
enforcement, then
rights.
you would understand.
Okay. And this is why African Americans have issues with law
Don't
enforcement
start
as
that.
well.
Don't start that. That's a bunch.
I asked you to leave, and you use profanity at someone?
That's okay. I could use that.
Oh, really?
if I
For
want,
someone
yeah.
who you concerned about doing something to themselves?
Hey, you know what? When you're not listening to commands, what did you do?
That wasn't a command.
All right.
A command for me to ask you to leave my residency?
You don't command us to do
I can
anything.
ask you to leave if you're not supposed. Why are you here? You were here to help me, and
We are here because somebody wanted us to check on you.
I told you I was fine. And then you started exacerbating my condition.
You need-
Why are you putting your hand up like for me not to speak? You can't help a person if you don't want to listen to what they are saying. If I ask you to leave because you're exacerbating my disability, which clearly you're aware I'm a person with a disability because you already observed, number one, you see a sign right here that's saying that. Number two,
How do I know what that is?
Yeah. What is that?
oh, well, how do you, what do you
How do
mean?
you know I don't have one?
You could, but guess what? If you had one and you came in my residency and I
So
came,
you're,
hold on
you're
one
the
second.
victim here, right? You're the victim here, right?
Well, you guys are victimizing me. And now I'm in cuffs.
Well, you're in cuffs now because of the way you're acting.
Why? I asked you not to search my place.
Don't-
Why are you grabbing me? I'm not doing anything. I'm
Because
in
he
cuffs.
said to stay right
But
here.
I asked you not to look around in my place. Okay, that's a violation.
Hey.
What are you doing?
Stand right there.
I can move.
No, you cannot.
Why not?
Because you are in our custody right now. You are being detained.
Okay. I'm being, okay.
You know what? You could call up whoever you talk to and tell them,
Sir, would you please not step on my rug, please? That's a very expensive rug.
Who says I want to step on your rug?
You may. Why are you acting like
Your
this?
shoes?
See, yes, they are.
Okay, good. You can put them on. You have ID with you?
I do, but I need to get it. I can't get it.
Where's your ID?
Would you please remove your hands off of me?
No, I will
I'm not resisting
Where's
the
I will
handcuffs.
not.
I'll go
I will
get
not.
it.
And I recommend you don't resist. So put your shoes
Why would I resist so y'all can whoop my ass?
Where's
That's
your
what y'all
ID?
want to do anyhow.
Where's your ID?
You?
You know what? We came here because you called for help.
I didn't call you. I didn't call you.
Who'd you call?
I did not call you.
Who did you call?
I didn't call you.
Who do you think they're going to call?
I don't know. Obviously, I wouldn't have wanted them to call you all.
Well, they did.
Okay.
Okay?
Well,
and now you're in our custody because you're under a mental evaluation.
That's funny. Okay. I'm glad, and the body cams are working too.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, good.
Absolutely.
Where's your ID?
Do you want your ID?
I can't get it because then I'm not going to allow you to go through my things. Okay.
Okay, so you don't own any weapons.
I already showed you that I had no weapons, and I told you that.
I don't know that.
Okay, you don't know anything.
Because I could go looking for anywhere that you might have a weapon if you're going on a 5150 hold.
I shouldn't be on a 5150 hold.
Why don't you?
That's an abuse of authority to put someone on a 5150 hold who has shown no signs of harming themselves.
These are keys to your apartment, sir.
They are the keys.
Okay.
I can't believe you're law enforcement. But you are. Hey, could you go let Aaron know that I'm being unlawfully detained? Could you do that for me? Aaron. The manager here. Could you let him know? Could you let him know? Aaron. Go tell Donna for me. Will you go tell Donna for me? John, go tell Aaron that I'm being unlawfully detained. Aaron. Yes, for no reason. For no reason whatsoever.
You called us, sir.
I did not call you. I called you so you.
Yeah.
Why are you using the arm bar on me? I'm turning around. What are you? Oh, I gotta face this way now? Why is that?
Look at where you're acting.
What you mean? How am I acting? I hope this is gonna be worth it to you. I hope it's gonna be worth it. Yeah, not for you. It is for me to say. I'm a citizen. You're a citizen. Unfortunately, when it comes to black people, you all never do. This is not a secret. Okay. Well, what you mean don't pull you? I'm walking. What you mean don't pull you? Yes. You escalated the matter. You escalated the matter.
You will be sitting down in the car, okay?
Why wouldn't I let you sit down there?
Good, thank you, sir.
Now is Slade Douglas's attorney Peter Carr. Okay, Peter, who called the cops?
It was the Veterans Administration, a representative from the Veterans Administration called the police.
Okay, and they called for what reason?
Mr. Douglas was making a discrimination complaint with the Veterans Administration. The representative got upset and called the police and made a false claim for suicide, that he was claiming suicide.
Okay, so then the cops arrive. They ask him a series of questions. As we saw in the body cam footage, he says, "I'm fine." And then when they start walking around, he goes, "I asked you to leave." What rights do they have to continue to question him after he says, "I'm fine, you can leave"?
They don't. And that's one of the main reasons why Mr. Douglas filed this lawsuit. They were violating his rights when he asked them to leave, and they refused to leave.
And again, he initially said they could come in, but when one of the officers started walking around, he was like, "What are you doing? I don't want you walking around my apartment." Oh, they go for safety, and then he was kind of like, "You know what? I asked you to leave." Then it was very clear watching the video, the cops escalated the situation.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Go ahead.
They use improper policing practices, escalating a situation that didn't, not properly evaluating the situation. When they arrived, they were there to do a welfare check, and they were to make a determination whether or not he was a danger to himself or to others. And it's clear from the video that he's not a danger to himself, and he's not a danger to anyone else. He's coherent. He's calm. Very respectful and very knowledgeable of his rights. And that seemed to anger the officers when they couldn't do whatever they wanted to do. And when he challenged their authority is when, obviously, or not challenged, but questioned their authority. That's when, things escalated and, they further violated his rights.
Yeah, I'm watching the video and I'm sitting there going cha-ching, 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 because you can hear them. They escalate. They're the ones who, then all of a sudden they're saying, oh, we're going to put you on a 5150. We can detain you. Then they start cursing. And it was just, and what's crazy to me is if I get a call and I'm arriving there, I'm a cop, and I know that there's somebody with a disability who's unstable, why am I going to escalate something further?
Right. Absolutely. That's not how they're trained or should be trained. Is the problem.
I think this is a perfect example where if I'm Mayor Karen Bass, I'm going, damn, here we go again. Now we got to cut a check because we got two stupid cops in terms of how they behaved.
Definitely. And, and part of the issue is, by placing him on the hold, they were allowed to take him to the hospital, and where he had some tests that were administered, they withdrew his blood without his consent and subjected him to a catheter against his consent. And that's really what, the problematic thing is, it's not just this violation, not just parading him through the hallway in front of his neighbors and other people, strangers he doesn't even know. It's also taking him to a place where they know that his rights would be even further violated against his will.
Indeed. All right, then, we certainly appreciate you joining us. Peter Carr, thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir.
My pal, Dr. Greg Carr, Department of Afro-American Studies, Howard University, Lauren Victoria Burke, Black Press USA. Greg, this is stupid. Again, we use the example all the time, cops that escalate situation. That's exactly what they did here. It did not have to rise to putting the guy in handcuffs and taking him away because they didn't like the fact that he told them, please leave.
Well, yeah, Roland, ideally, sure, it didn't have to do that. But that's not the society we live in. We're in a society where a man is in 4 different federal courtrooms, is running for president of the United States, and will probably be the Republican nominee. We're in a society where the White Nationalist Party in the federal legislature has indicted or trying to bring somebody up to impeach them with no evidence. So we're in a society where a cop can walk in somebody's house and say, you're going to listen to commands, and you don't command us to do anything. These are hunters. So, when this white boy says, you're going to listen to me, put your hands behind your back. And he says, and then arrest him for the crime of simply being human and saying, no, I refuse to do what you say because you are in my house. It is stupid in a world where we're thinking rationally, but that's not the world we live in. It's never been the world in the United States. But now, with this rule of law out of hand, when they start talking about you're in our custody, you're being detained, false arrest, law enforcement, finally, that's the 2 words right there, law enforcement. There is no rule of law in this country when the police can just come in and do what the hell they want. They don't mind cutting the check. It's going to come out of the taxpayers' pocket. But these 2 boys need to be stripped of any ability to be in law enforcement ever again. And that should be the standard by which we work.
What's crazy, again, Lauren, this is just one of those things where here are actions by cops that's going to cost the city some money.
Yeah, it's going to cost them some money. I don't know that it's going to cost them $10 million. I think I saw the number $10 million at the bottom of the screen. One of the problems here is that he does initially allow them and grant them permission to enter his residence. The other problem is not knowing what exactly this person at Veterans Affairs told the police, which could be any of a number of dumb things that could have made the police believe that there was something going on that might have been dangerous. They did have probable cause because of that call. Of course, we've seen like the John Crawford case and the Tamir Rice case. We've seen these incidents where somebody has called the police and it has led to somebody getting killed for absolutely no reason. But there's some, officers, of course, as we know, have a great deal of discretion in these situations. And the gentleman was a bit of an argumentative nudge, quite frankly, in that front part of the conversation. Though I completely agree with what Greg is saying about this idea that, you don't tell us what to do and you don't get to dictate. I just think this guy is standing in his residence and you've got somebody who's supposed to be a protect and serve servant telling you that you don't get to tell us what to do. That posture is fairly ridiculous. But there was something about his personality, I can't, if I'm honest, that kind of made me feel like the accelerating of the conversation, the argumentative nature of the conversation, and again, not knowing what these people at Veterans Affairs told the cops, all probably contributed to this. I doubt he would get $10 million in damages, but he sure as hell should get something. So it's a interesting situation. I found it very interesting too, this idea, don't start with that. When he starts talking about the truth, it's amazing what happens when you start telling the truth about this country, about the history of this country when it comes to law enforcement and black males in particular, right? And so he starts to tell that truth and one of the cops tells him to shut up. That's another big tell. So we'll see what happens with regard to the civil lawsuit.
Yeah, I just think that, again, frankly, it doesn't matter if the guy's agitated. Yes, he did invite them in. But after the guy said, I'm fine, and then when they start walking around, he goes, look, I don't want you doing certain things in my house. Cops, actually, they don't have the unlimited rights to do whatever they want. Now, me personally, I would have never invited them in. I would have made them stand at the door. I've been in that situation when I was in college. There was an incident that took place, and the cops wanted to enter my dorm room. I knew it was private property. I said, no, you cannot come in. And so they had to stand outside of that door. And that's the whole thing. When you talk about these know your rights workshops that happen around the country, what pisses a lot of cops off is when black people know their rights. And then when you're one of those black people who know their rights, they get mad when you know your rights.
You're correct. The big question mark we don't know is, did the person at Vets Affairs tell them something that would have indicated a weapon, danger? Because when you hear suicide...
Keep in mind, Veteran Affairs called 911.
Right.
So the question is, what was relayed to them? And we know a lot of times you don't get information relayed. They simply called and said, we got a call for a wellness check.
Right. So one of the most prevalent forms of suicide, as you know, is, of course, guns.
I got you.
Right. So I think part of not knowing what they were told, not to excuse some of the idiocy that we saw, but I'm saying that part of their probable cause is hearing something that might indicate a situation that might be dangerous. So you just don't know. You don't know.
But here's the deal, though. If that was the case, they would have said, this is all I heard in the video, that we got a call for a wellness check. They didn't say, we got a call saying that you might potentially hurt yourself, things along those lines. When they then went down, do you have any weapons? He said, I don't have any weapons. And again, I still fundamentally believe that if you're a cop and you see a person begin to get agitated, to me, that's one of those things. Guy says, please do not walk around my apartment. That's when you say, sir, I understand. Now, I have a series of questions for you. Can I now ask those questions? I just believe the job of police officers is to de-escalate. In that video, they escalated. And then it kept going up to the point, oh, you're handcuffs, you're under arrest. Then they start yelling. Then he starts yelling. And so now we're way past 10. We're now on 12 and 15. I just think that cops have got to learn how to bring it down. If a person is on an 8, bring it down to a 4. You don't take it to a 10, and then now they're going to take it higher as well. But a lot of times these cops know that they have the law with them, and they can frankly do whatever they want. I go back to Sandra Bland. That's all that was. Right. A cop that escalated a situation, and so it's just nonsense.
But Roland, but something you raised. I mean, how many times have you had Melina Abdullah in this space from Black Lives Matter LA to talk about these confrontational police? And of course, it isn't just constrained to Los Angeles, but you know, the four numbers that rose there near the end of that encounter: 5150. The section of code called the Welfare and Institutions Code, which allows an adult who's experiencing a mental health crisis to be involuntarily detained for 72 hours. They threw the 5150 in, and it's very interesting because I agree with Lauren. You don't know what the VA person said, but notice they didn't put him in cuffs till he called 911, which was entirely legal. He was pissing them off. And this is where it comes down to it. Melina has said this. They said it back when, in the moment when George Floyd was killed, in the wake of that, when Jacob Fry, the mayor of Minnesota, Minneapolis, moved to defund the police and moved to public safety. Police officers are not social workers. They are not psychiatrists or psychologists. In other words, if it's a wellness check, how about a society where they are accompanied by wellness check professionals, mental health professionals? And I don't know that you can train a cop to be something like that because their job is not to de-escalate. Their job is to do what they did.
Yep, I absolutely agree with that. All right, folks, hold tight 1 second. Going to a break. We come back. More to talk about in